gentle listeners. We are the Whistledowners. Like our predecessor, Lady Whistledown, who breathed down the necks of 1800s Mayfair society, we are four headstrong women. On this podcast, we'll analyze and discuss the complex and eyeball-catching escapade that is the hit Netflix show Bridgerton. Join us as we delve deeply into the show's plots, themes, characters, and more. Are you ready? Let's begin. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the
Hey.
inaugural session of the Whistledowners. It's good to see you
Yay.
all.
Yes. It's great to be here, guys.
Yeah, nice to see you all. And hello to whoever has chosen to listen to us. Hope you're sitting down and have something because we're going to go a long time. I'm just kidding.
Bear with us because this is our first episode. It'll get smoother as we go, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure.
So we thought we would start by introducing ourselves. I'm Queen Roxana, my Reddit username. You can call me Rox or Queen. And we have some great icebreaker questions we're going to answer. So my favorite character is Colin. I'm a Colliner, a Colin Bridgertoner. What would describe me when I react to or analyze Bridgerton scenes and characters? I would say I'm a huge romantic. I fall in love with my favorite characters, but I'm also very analytical. I was an English major a million years ago, and I have a law degree, so I can't help analyzing things to death. I try not to be too obnoxious. But I'm sure I fail at that on a regular basis. I'm a lifelong Jane Austen fan since I was a teenager, and I love period dramas and 19th century novels. So I kind of bring that lens to Bridgerton as well. I love doing deep dives into character and theme and symbolism. In real life, I work in the nonprofit world, the nonprofit sort of social justice world. I'm a mom of one 3.5, very feisty 3.5-year-old boy. I'm married. I'm close to my family of origin, and I'm Iranian American, and an immigrant. So those sort of aspects of identity, of course, also always inform how we see things. My favorite couple or friendship, and then include an underrated choice. So my favorite couple is Colin and Penelope. But in terms of creative, I really loved in season 1 both Violet and Daphne's mother-daughter relationship and the kind of angsty romance between Anthony and Sienna. I thought that was really interesting. Okay, I'm going to move on. I'm going to say, I don't know who wants to go next. Maybe Joe, do you want to go?
Why don't you go? I think I'm gonna go last because
Okay.
I think because I think we've not seen this, but so Rox is the queen of our gang, so I think it's best that we follow up with the either the diamond or the slash sparkler or the spinster of our group.
Oh, I was wondering because in the entire time I was like, I'm Sparkler, I think. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. And then I was
Sparkler, yeah,
Diamond. That's Diamond. That doesn't suit me at all.
yeah, I mean, spoiler. I mean, because when I met Spoiler, like before this recording, I definitely thought she was Diamond. She was
Yeah, she came in late and was like, guys, I'm not really certain I put the mic on. Like, I'm so sorry, guys. What did I miss? Yeah, like diamond material right there. Sorry.
You're perfect.
Well, yeah, no. So
Perfect.
Diamond of our group, Spoiler. You okay? Yeah. Okay. Why don't you go ahead?
All right. So I'm Czech. I'm saying it right here because every time when someone says something and I look confused, and of course the audience cannot see me look confused, so they would just know that I'm silent for some time. It likely means that at that point I did not really grasp the conversation, so apologies for that. I discovered Austen in my 20s, actually, so a bit later, which was kind of natural because, well, we do not get it, with literature. Like, Austen is not considered in Czech literature as important. which of course again shows maybe some gender disbalance in, among the let's call it Eastern European literature clubs. Um, I am actually in my mid 20s, currently studying masters at media studies, but I am considering, maybe dropping out in the near future, but you're the first ones I actually told. So
Aw.
Your next
Oh,
podcast will be the media studies dropouts. It's
exactly.
very cool.
But you know what? I can tell I am media dropout who is also a podcaster. So, there are some little steps along the way. I will just say that I discovered Bridgerton. I think that it was after season 2 dropped. And I remember it because I came to the Reddit, hopefully, to have some fun and joy. And it was a war zone, basically. Like, it was
Even back
very,
then, because
yeah.
I only joined after season 3, and I was like, "Whoa, what is happening here?"
No, no, no. 2022, I believe it was. That was like, that was something. I call it big fandom divide because this was the time when all the subreddits just,
oh, like
began.
split. Oh,
Yeah.
Um,
And I actually, did a deep dive among this and discovered that Cantonese subreddit was created first, actually, and then followed shortly by Poland subreddit. From what I gathered, Cantonese were not really, appreciative of the fact that suddenly it wasn't really their time to shine. Some
yeah.
people were kind of harsh on this, and then pollinators felt, sidelined, etc. So it was a big fandom, collapse. So I came in and I was like, hey, let's have some fun. And then I realized that the fun is like, these constant fights. But but
only
luckily
fun if you
I
like fighting. Yeah.
yeah. But luckily I got into the fandom. I started going crazy. My friend actually watched the season 3 with me, but she was more of a casual, so basically I spammed memes, before season 3 dropped, and I think she kind of got a bit, um no, well, she didn't really appreciate the fact that I was just spamming memes, theories, etc. But she was very appreciative of the carriage scene, I must say.
I think everybody.
Poor
Speak,
Virginia.
speaking of which,
I
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
do
yeah.
not like explicit content at all. I must admit, which is another weird thing about this show for me. But I really appreciated her reaction to the carriage scene.
I, speaking of which, we're actually recording exactly a week before it's going to be
Oh, I
1 year
know.
of that
Changed my
carriage.
brain chemistry forever. I
Forever.
apologize for the person I'm going to become when we discuss the carriage scene, you guys. So,
Yeah, well, we will discuss that. I think we'll
in
have
due
an episode
time.
where we discuss like all the small moments. Okay, and so what would describe you when you okay, so you kind of answered that. Do you have like a favorite couple or a friendship, spoiler?
Sure. Okay, I am original and I'm going to say Poland. But, in order not to, spark anything, I really enjoy Cantony. Daphne was nearly not my jam, but I really appreciate season 1. I want to say that. So, every time I am really not fan of these, who's better, who's, worse. I actually put Colin as my favorite character with the side note. If anyone else picks Colin, I'm going to say Philippa, or I believe that at least, something akin to this.
Hmm.
So I'm a big Colin fan. I'm a bit Philippa fan. I always enjoy Clueless Newbie.
Yeah,
Like, there's something very relatable about it. I'm not sure what, but it is.
yeah, and it's Philippa, not Philippa.
Oh, I'm so
Because
sorry.
there are two. No, no, that's fine. That's fine. It's just for listeners' sake. It's Philip, not Philippa. Or Philippa is pretty good, but
It's
hope.
Philippa, actually. Like, I mean, Philippa, not Philip in this instant.
Oh, so Philippa said. Okay, I thought you
Joe
meant
just could not
Philip
fathom
Crane.
that
I
anybody.
thought you meant
You mean
Philip Crane.
Philippa
I'm so sorry.
Featherington?
I'm so
I
sorry.
really like Philip, but he had only short scenes somewhat. So
Right.
I'm going to keep it, just now. I'm really sorry. I know you're really Phillies fan a lot. I really enjoy Phillies. I
No,
think
no,
that
no, for sure, for sure. No, but
they're going to
understandable.
be actually
Just want.
very good,
Okay, I'm
but we
gonna.
shall see.
Right,
What I
right. I'm
Wait,
wanted
gonna
to
why
ask.
is
say, okay,
Philippa your
let's
favorite
let's just
character?
let's
Tell me
just
more.
ignore this and just say,
I was,
um,
I was just gonna ask. Would you choose? No, Varley, the bugs, or it sucks and
I would
stuff. You
probably
can't be
choose.
elsewhere.
I would prefer the carriage or something akin to this when
No, no,
she. That's
no.
in
I was
episode
talking.
6.
Right. No, I was talking about like what's your favorite Philippa moment? Is it the bugs moment or the it
It's
sucks and stuff?
probably the moment when she just leans to her husband and say, like, yeah, I really appreciate you, but I would really appreciate if we actually got the golden
Oh,
carriages.
oh, in episode 6. Oh my God, that's such a
Yeah,
great
exactly.
choice. Same
Yeah,
here. Oh my God.
it's such a lovely moment because you can feel like she really cares for him and like she cares about him, but on the other hand, it's Philippa.
Yeah, that's it's very Philippa line. And what's your favorite couple or a dynamic within the show?
So of course it's Pollen, but what I want to say is that I actually did some or started to do deep dives. I'm currently at number 2 from 28, so I'm kind of, I'm not doing a very good job, but I did deep dives in sibling dynamics. I I
Love those
was
posts.
doing Anthony and Colin. This was surprisingly very popular. Maybe
So
because
interesting.
it was controversial choice. And
But
then
I
I
think
did
it was
Benedict.
very good. Like I
And
read it like 3, 4 times when you
oh,
posted it.
that's so
It's so
lovely!
good.
Thank you very much. I felt like when I was saying this, I was like, okay, I read it, I liked it.
No,
Some other
but
people.
I actually feel like Anthony and Colin is like an underappreciated dynamic for sure. Like their relationship's so interesting, and I actually feel like we'll get there. But I feel like the show could have done more with it.
Yeah.
I
I hope
felt.
that I think there might be a scene in season 4, right?
Let's
Because
hope.
they're both new fathers, and I think
Yeah.
Colin could actually come to appreciate that it's kind of difficult being responsible, until your child comes of age. So I
I'm
think
very,
that
very because they're not leads anymore. And, when it comes to those who were already leads, I have no large expectations. But it's lead and future lead or new
Exactly.
lead, it's different. But of course, the show has a lot of characters. But it's definitely a very good dynamic. But if I were to choose, I think that Colin and Elle would definitely be, my top sibling pairing. I'm planning to do them at number 4. So we shall see. I'm so sorry.
keep going.
No, this is great.
So that's basically it. When it comes to all these sibling duos, some of them do not have much currently, but we shall see. Like it's still only season 3, so there is still opportunities for some new favorites. So I'm
Yes.
going to keep an eye on it. I am holding big hopes for Benedict and Elle because this is probably, unpopular opinion, but I'm not really, thinking of them as my favorite duo. And I think that they're fan favorites. But, I think that I need some, conflict, some obstacles
Yes.
in the
This is the
dynamic.
same
Sorry.
reason Benedict and Elle are not my favorite sibling duo. They seem almost unrealistic to me because there's like not enough conflict there. And I'm hoping in season 4 that there is conflict because I think that
Yeah.
would be very interesting.
I mean, I'll,
Exactly.
I'll, I'll just chime in a little bit with Benedict and Eloise. I like because they're big age gap. Because I have an older brother who's like the same
Oh,
age as Benedict. Like we have like a big age gap, but our dynamic is very like Eloise and Colin.
oh,
So yeah,
that's
I
lovely.
think when we
So you're
speak
roasting him tremendously. That's lovely.
when we come to talking about the Bridgerton family, like some of the scenes like reminded me so much of what is exactly my trauma slash like the problems I faced growing up. So I would love to do like a talking about that. Hopefully he's not gonna kill me when I talk about it. So, so that was a
We shall
sparkler,
see.
spoily, what we'd like to call him. And next up is Ellie. Do you want to go ahead and introduce him?
Yeah, like I don't mind being called a spinster because technically in Regency time I'm already a spinster. Like I'm in my mid-30s, never married. I'm pretty happy with my life right now. One, I really like Regency stuff, and two, I really like Nicola Coughlan. Like from Dairy Girls, that really drew me in. Like her
Love that
character
show.
is
Yeah, Dairy Girls is one of my favorites. It's actually I was watching some of that because of locations. I'm a film and I won't go to hell. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
it's okay.
Gosh.
Yeah, because well, like this might give a hint to who I am because I did study, work, and lived in Ireland for some time. So Dairy Girls is pretty important to me because a lot of my friends went through that or like have gone through whatever Dairy Girls have gone through, and then that's why I was like, oh, this is cool, and then it led me into Bridgerton, and then I think what I like about Bridgerton is that it's a modern twist on Regency era because even if you watch Jane Austen stuff, it's very different because there's a lot of rules they break in Bridgerton where you go like, hmm, you know
Yeah,
what? I will suspend my belief because I like the show too much to really care about all the other stuff. Yeah.
mhm, for sure. And what would like describe you when you like react to certain moments and characters, like their motivations? Like what's kind of like what's your go-to mindset? I guess.
I think like what I like some of them is pretty realistic, like how Violet didn't teach Daphne anything about sex. I was just like, animals, and then like Daphne was
Basset. I,
clueless.
I I literally cringed when she got the Basset hounds because Daphne's last name is Basset.
I forgot
That
about
that
that.
was really cringy for me. It's like, oh god, she has a dog's last name, and her mom's putting a dog like the same breed of dogs as an example,
That's
which
really
is
funny. I
so
never
cringy.
noticed that.
Sorry, I just noticed that part
No,
right now.
but it is, I mean, apparently it is a little bit unrealistic to the time. Like how I think some girls may have been that sheltered, but from what I've read, at least in Jane Austen novels and stuff, they were like dimly aware,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least, of like what
I
went on,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
think Daphne should be aware because she is the oldest daughter of like Hyacinth. I would get not knowing, but
yeah.
Daphne being
I
the
think
oldest
Yeah.
daughter.
we will definitely.
Hyacinth, on the
I
other
need
hand,
to
is
do
very
some deep dive
curious. Like,
historical research on this because I've seen a lot of different takes on this on both the main subreddit and the Pollen subreddit of like
Yeah.
how much would these girls
Yeah,
really have
yeah.
known. It
I
wasn't
actually,
different for Jane Austen because she was not aristocracy. She was
Yeah.
landed gentry. Gentry. Her characters had definitely seen animals.
Yeah.
Like Al, have you ever been to a farm? Like
oh,
but
Yeah, but
but apparently
I
in the
think,
times
and
some of the
actually,
girls really might have been that sheltered.
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And actually, we can also talk about our own experiences, like with the sex talk. I mean,
Ye-
I've got a very interesting
sorry.
story of how I got the sex
I
talk.
I have interesting story because I'm a child of immigrants, so I didn't get it. I learned
I
it.
didn't get it either. I got it from like other kids on the schoolyard,
Yeah, it
essentially.
was that, and my school did provide like the schools I
Yeah,
went to provided sex education where I lived. They provide sex education, so I was like thankful for that. But like
same.
Uh,
at the same
But you
time,
know,
I'm just like,
in a lot
yeah,
of America now, and in many places, like there isn't sex education, or it's like going backwards. So
yeah.
I have seen like some folks on like some of the subreddits say like, oh, I grew up in a really conservative religious community and we didn't know anything. Like we were not told anything. And that was not, I mean, I went to public school in Los Angeles, so that was not my experience. I knew things,
Yeah.
like by the time I was 12 or
But
13 at least.
but actually, yeah, no, I won't take too much because segue into it. But like my kind of where I like how I got it is it's not like it's neither school nor nor when it came like in my 13. I got it at a very very early age. But I won't. We'll do a proper
So
conversation about it
interesting.
soon. But yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah.
I have to say
What is
now that I have a child, I do really relate to Violet's like embarrassment because I'm definitely gonna like have the talk with him early and like give him the books and I'm very like progressive when it comes to that stuff. Like we already use all the correct body part names and all that stuff. But like sometimes just like the embarrassment that you feel when it's your kid, even when they're little, I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, this
yeah,
is gonna be
Yeah,
rough. Like,
yeah. But I think it's also what someone has said. It is uncomfortable, but it is necessary because
yeah,
you
100%.
can't. Yeah, it's never supposed to be comfortable. So yeah.
I
Anyway,
just wanted to say, for the sake of Daphne, and I think it's one of the most common questions. Like, Penelope cannot be Lady Whistledown because she does all these sex innuendos. I did many sex innuendos. What are you talking about without not knowing anything? Like, it's normal completely.
yeah. Like
yeah,
I think like there was a joke that because I used to volunteer with children when I was in high school, and then I was like, a kid made a joke, and it was about like throwing a coin. Is like, oh, would I get heads or tails? And I was like, do you know what that means? Where did you hear that joke from? It was from an older sibling. I was like, okay, I think you should talk because I wasn't comfortable. I was a teenager back then too, so I was like, I wasn't comfortable with describing what it was. But I was like, if kids hear these jokes from other people, they're gonna
yeah.
reuse it, and I think that's where
You have to be.
Penelope learned it from.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So we'll just merge those two questions. So, what's your
Yes,
favorite character? Who would you identify as, like, character? And what's your favorite couple, friendship dynamic? Go ahead.
I like Penelope because well, one because I like Nicola Coughlan, and two because like I do like the kind of like wallflower, but she wants to hear everything kind of thing because that's how I
The
am. Like,
observer. Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
observe and like I like to pretend I don't know things, but I do know. I just don't want to like. I'm not gonna write a gossip column out of it, but like I was like, you know what? I know stuff about people, but I'm gonna keep it to myself. It's just interesting for me to like people watch.
yeah. Mm,
Yeah,
that is good.
and like
Okay.
I like the Louise dynamic, but I like it better in the books because they're more like. But then they're closer in the show, but in the books, I kind of liked because if you read the books, it's like especially
Yeah,
how they found out it was so much nicer than what they did in the show, which I was just
yeah,
like,
but I
I'm
think
gonna disagree. I love the fact that they made it, not dramatic, but they
yeah,
added, some conflict, and a struggle because it makes it interesting. And
right.
it was very ugly breakup,
Oh,
between
Yeah,
these
so
two.
it was
painful.
awful. Yeah.
I also
But
think it's because
great.
like they are a lot younger because I had those traumatic breakups when I was
Yeah,
younger. Like,
it's quite
Yeah.
realistic with that age. I think we're gonna talk about this in our next section of
okay,
sorts.
yeah,
But the
I
one
love
thing
how
is
we're
like,
already jumping into discussing the show like we can't help ourselves. It's so good.
I mean, yeah, I guess like this is what's gonna be like when you come on our podcast. We're just gonna go way off field, but
Wait,
hopefully not.
but it's good
Yeah.
conversation.
But yeah, no, I think I won't take too much, but I think one of the things we want to talk about is like friendships on Bridgerton because each of them are very complex, and actually we could also talk about differences, yeah, between the book friendship and the show friendships
Mhm.
thing. And I'm last but not the least, hopefully. Uh,
nevertheless,
Never
and yeah, I hope everybody's okay with it, but I would identify as the emerald of the group, um, because
I love
emerald
that.
is my birthstone.
Oh,
And so actually I would prefer going as Joe for the podcast because one, it's actually been my nickname since college, and a very close friend of mine, she was a Jane Austen fan, and she called me a Regency fan, so she called me Joe because I was very much like Joe March from Little Women.
Aw.
oh,
Little Women.
That was
Yeah.
like that's been my nickname ever since. Um, I actually, how I got into the show, I think might be very controversial. I don't know. I know you guys have stuck it with from the beginning. I actually just started with season three, and then I went back to season one and two. So I'm kind of started at a very thing. I just knew like facts, and then I just dove right in. Yeah, and I guess okay, so I am an Eloisa. I think because especially because I've been watching her, I think a lot of the moments that she's had I'm very similar to because technically I've also been to Scotland. She's gone to Scotland. I'm in Scotland for my studies. Um I have had those things where I had to be called out a lot of the times and I was a little judgmental of other women when I was growing up. Um So yeah, I'm definitely. I think she and I align at about 82, 87%.
It's
I
very
love how
specific.
specific you are with these numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I think because I saw a lot of myself when I saw her scenes. So it was like there were some things I was like, okay, little difference, but because of like different facts that happened to us. Because the fact is, I did have a little bit of a love-hate relationship. Not, I didn't have a sister. I didn't have sisters growing up. I did have a brother, but I was always in competition with him. But which I will get into it when we have like a proper episode about the family dynamics. So I won't spoil it just yet. Um, when it comes to analyzing, I think Bridgerton, I think I only just like of how human there's a lot of humanness in the interactions. There is a thing that, they are saying what they're saying, but like the circumstances are all messed up. It's like if you solely take this person's perspective or you solely take the other person's perspective, it makes sense in their point of view. But right
Mhm.
now, when you come together, it's like sticking the needle. It like there's this box, right? This game that you see on TikTok. There's a balloon, and then you have to push a stick inside to make sure it doesn't pop. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, so each thought is like a sticking it in the box, and then a balloon can just be there, and if you're very very unlucky, the balloon pops and things get messy. So that's my thing of it. And I also think Roger, because I'm a film and television student, I was always thinking cinema cultivates empathy. And there is like, I like comparing Bridgerton. I think I love Bridgerton not because of its Regency vibes. I like it because it's so human, it's so complicated, it's so messy. And I think my favorite couple, I'm sorry, I know all three of y'all are Pauline fans. I'm actually Philoise first and then Pauline. I'm sorry.
It's
But
alright. This is good because we have some diversity in this. Because I remember your first being like, "Oh, you're Feli's fan. It's okay. It's completely fine." And I was just like, I actually found out that Feli's,
Philoise.
that they have subreddit on Reddit, and I was like completely blown away. Like,
Yeah, I
awesome.
mean, I love talking about Philoise. Very ironically, I love talking about Philoise on the Pollen subreddit because sometimes the Philoise subreddit, I think we've not come to us that season just yet. So I think there's a little bit of like, but it's building up because as well as the writers' room has started with a flower arranging course that everybody thinks it's
Yeah,
Philoise.
I
I know
must
that's
say I
exciting.
absolutely love it because I like to imagine that the writer did not even think of the connection. He was just like, oh, team needs help, with these flowers. And I want to say that I think that Elle is next, but I still love this fact that I think that this was completely unintentional. It's just people are like, oh, flowers.
They were just doing
Hello.
the flower arranging course randomly.
But
I also do think Elle. I think Elle has to be next, but I that's really funny that
Yeah,
there's
but
Like,
And
yeah,
also, let's be real, pollinators did the same. They were like, ooh, a clue. What does this
a
mean?
clue.
Oh, charms
I've heard
necklace.
about that.
Uh,
I feel
a little
sad that I
self promotion. I
missed that
did
whole era.
Iceberg recently in, all the theories, etc. And it was such a wild ride going through the history. And there is just some stupid, can I say shit? I'm not certain.
I don't see why
you said
not.
it already.
Ah, all
go
right.
ahead.
Perfect. So, and there was this just basic like necklace truthers and ambrosia, and these random phrases that other people would be completely, what does this mean? So I completely understand. I kind of envy it because one is already done. Yes, there will be some tidbits, but this wild, chaotic, like this phase, it just evades all these other ship fandoms, and I am going to just love the chaos. So I actually
I'm
love
looking
the
forward
fact
to
that
that for
Phillies is like, hey, new dress, what does this mean?
Yeah,
yeah,
I
like
mean,
the dress has plants. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm kind of sad that I missed that. So I didn't join the online fandom. I was like a casual until season
Yeah.
3. And then I loved season 3 and then I joined the online fandom. I enjoyed the first few seasons too. I wasn't as in so deep. And
yeah, I mean,
so
yeah, I think one of the disadvantages I think is that sometimes you do want like it's not it it's happy. I think one of the we can get into it maybe when we talk about like critically of the like the writing in specific, but I do think that one of the pitfalls of the show is that we don't have like a check-in where there can be a little conflict in their marriage, and you know
I
they'll figure
agree.
it out, because they did it a little bit with Cantonese, like in episode 5, right? That she was a little bummed because now it's gonna be like motherhood and
Yeah, it would
all.
have been so interesting if they expanded on that. I know. It's like they're too afraid to mess with the happy ending, but it's so unrealistic because couples do have conflict after they get married.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
and honestly, I hope that they have that space to explore that a little bit. So hopefully, yeah, it's just one thing that wish fulfillment, but also because I think
Mhm,
working in TV production, you only have like specific minutes. You can't
mhm.
do that specifically.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm
Yeah.
so
counting on Portia to cost some ruckus because I think that she could bring some drama into Fluffy Pauline season 4 era. And
Definitely
yes,
could.
I understand that Featherington's very big part, of season 1, season 2, season 3. Let us have something. But on the other hand, I'm sorry,
yeah,
I'm just
I
going
But
mean,
they're
here
so
and I'm going
entertaining.
to
unfortunately,
Yeah.
look
I
forward
think
to Portia.
unfortunately, I think why she's gonna stick around is because she's technically the dowager, right? So I think
Mhm.
she's allowed to stay in the house until her grandson gets married.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think
Also, I'm
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
worried that she will leave after season 4. So I'm going
I'm
to,
a worried about that
enjoy the
too.
tidbits while she's
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
Soak up all the Portia I can get. Yeah. I
like
love her.
Exactly.
Whoa.
I'll just say Polly Walker is an amazing actress, so like
She's
I
so
want her to
good.
That's
stay.
what I wanted to say. I'm so sorry. I wanted to say that I really enjoyed Polly Walker as Jane Fairfax in Emma 1996. And I just love the contrast. Like, you have Jane Fairfax, this, I'm keeping this mystery aura around me, and then you have just Portia just bursting in, Mrs. Bennet
I
style.
I love her as Jane Fairfax. She's amazing. I
I
love
have to
that
watch
movie.
that. I have to
It's
watch that.
so
I
good.
honestly I
Really good.
prefer Emma 2009 and the newest
Same.
movie, but Polly Walker is definitely that Jane Fairfax for me.
She's
All
so
right.
good.
Okay. So okay, we've
Sorry.
really introduced ourselves really well. I think that was a great introduction to who we are, and I think I will
Yeah,
just
let's pace ourselves.
yeah.
We shall see how it goes later.
Yeah. So let's okay. So to give our listeners, I hope you enjoyed that really lovely roller coaster of getting to know us, and let's move on to what are our plans for this podcast? What do we wish we would talk about on the podcast? So the spoiler, do you want to go ahead? Um,
All right. So we want to focus on deep dives in the future. We really want to go, into certain things which we know that our podcast is not the first Bridgerton one. There are many of them and we really like them, but we come to the conclusion that what we miss are, these big deep dives into familiar dynamics, certain scenes. So if you do not mind me, saying specific plans for episode 2 and 3 in advance, may I? All
no,
right.
go ahead.
So we want to focus on our lovely Bridgertons in episode 2, kind of dive into every of this clueless newbie who share one single brain cell, and then we want to focus on the world of Bridgerton in episode 3, dive into other families of the Ton, Featheringtons, Sharmas, and Ganley family. Is that correct? I hope so. Um, when it comes to some bigger plans, if Al doesn't want to take from me, what I wanted to say is that we kind of want to use the fact that we are kind of new, non threatening podcast. So we would really like to get some feedback from other fans, how they view certain things. So we might, find a place to include multiple different fandom and fans' views on certain, scenes, dynamics, themes, etc.
Yeah. I think the working title for that section, we're calling it the melding of minds instead of meeting of minds. It's a pun on that. So melding of minds, because I think what we love and appreciate is that so many people are so insightful when it comes to Bridgerton. Like, I think I mean, we would love to get them as guest stars. I think on our podcast whenever. I think I have a few in mind. I think Lemon
Mhm.
Salt Water on Holland Reddit. She's so good with the deep dives. In my library, because she's a Philoise fan like me, I would love to have her come in and see the foreshadowing shots. There's on Tumblr. Are you guys on Tumblr?
No.
I'm
A
not.
little bit.
That's fine. That's fine. Because there's a user, Space Orphan 18. She has these things called like a section of things, the Lady Whistledown Society Papers, where she delves into uh, Penelope and Colin's character arcs. It's quite good. She's right now, I think, on episode 4 of season 2, which is
Oh.
quite
Oh,
good.
awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
So if you,
wanted to throw, I'm not certain if you mentioned Muster on Reddit, on subreddit, Poem
Yeah.
subreddit. She makes all these games and she also made the ranking scenes, Poem
Yeah.
scenes. So I
So
think
fun.
that this could be also fun exchange regarding
So
Muster.
fun.
Yeah.
I would love. Okay, so my dream guests are three people. One is competition dry. I think is her name. She
Competition
like
Dry
posts a lot of
65.
things. She's
Oh my god.
amazing.
Love
Like
her.
queen of the subreddit. My I call her my internet friend. Shipla proxy.
Yeah, yeah. All
She has
right.
such good takes, and I adore her. Like I'm always like, if she agrees with me on something, I'm like, I feel honored. So, and then there's another user called Brave. Oh my gosh, what is Brave's like the
Brave
rest of her thing?
3000?
I just call her
Oh
Brave.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Brave 3000. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember
Brave
that.
3000, total genius. Yeah. So those three would be my top, and then there's one other girl whose thing is like ZZS.
Yes,
Like,
yes. And I think
yeah,
maybe she, I'm not certain,
I
that she's
I
actually one
assume
of the
everyone is.
eldest on the subreddit, so she really
Yeah,
knew a lot.
just
Going
so
into
much.
Iceberg, it was very
Yes.
good to have this knowledge tidbits.
There's so many smart people on the pollen subreddit
Yeah,
for
for
like
sure.
honestly,
And I
that's
think,
mostly where I not all the subreddits, but that's mostly where I engage. So those are mostly the people I talk to.
oh yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
leaving a couple people out. Visible Economist is another one whose takes I love. But like there's so many great people on the
Of course,
on all
yeah.
of the subs that I would love to like invite on and just see if like who would be willing to talk to us.
Yeah,
Um
actually, yeah, for sure. And yeah, I think Unique Blueberry is another
oh
one.
yeah.
Yeah, all
So
Yeah,
right.
she's really good.
they are
And
so great.
I think we're also going to introduce other media, which is maybe not always Regency adjacent,
Yeah.
because I've said this before. I think when we were talking about it, because I love This Is Us, which is very similar to the Bridgertons. It's very funny. It's more emotional than funny, but like the weird family dynamics, the same circumstances. There's like a little different things here and there, but I think it's definitely. I love that show, and Bridgerton is, I think, very similar, like very very similar vibes in that show. So yeah,
That makes a lot of sense. There is something interesting. I would love to spend like an episode talking about genre because
mm,
there is something genre and tropes in Bridgerton are like both really interesting. Because Bridgerton really is like, it's not really a period. I mean, it's not a period drama that's based on 19th century
Mhm.
novels. It's a period drama that's based on like paperback bodice rippers written in the 90s.
Yeah.
So like that is its own genre, right? Like Regency romance is a thriving book genre. Um, that has its own tropes, that has its own sort of
yeah,
Harold Kinke. I'm sorry. I
its
needed to
own
throw at
rules.
least one Czech word at you. So it's Harold Kinke, Body Strippers books. You're welcome.
I
100%.
think
Yeah,
what
it
I
is.
yeah, what I also think we'll talk about it in episode 3, because we're talking about the world of Bridgerton with its marriage mart, the rules.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's a gilded cage of its own, and I think there are some things which show how far we've come, and I think how it was also ahead of its time. with
Mhm.
certain things on terms of accountability. But we'll get into that in in another episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, for sure. Okay, I think that's about it, right? What we could have talked about.
Questions
Yeah,
from
let's
fans.
take that.
I almost forgot.
Yeah.
So who
Okay,
wants to take that?
I can ask the questions. I've written them down.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome.
Starting off, attending a musical evening hosted by the what was the
Yes,
Smith
Miss
Miss
Smith,
family?
Smith.
Smiths. Yeah.
Yeah, or attending a soiree at Lady Danbury's house and having suitors do magic trips, hula hoops, and stuff like that. But
I want to see people fail at being a suitor. That's where I am in my life right now, so that would be more entertaining.
okay,
I think I have to go for the suitors also, just because I love the Smith musicale scene in Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, but I felt so terrible for those girls.
Yeah.
I was like Penelope, where I was like, I feel sorry for them. Whereas I feel like with the suitors, the cringe was kind of funny. Like I was not feeling as bad for those men. They have privilege, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
Like, so I
yeah.
think I would go for the suitors as well.
Okay, spoiler.
I think I would go with Smith just because I really want to listen and I want to hear because I have horrible musical hearing. So I'm not certain, if maybe they would sound great to me.
You
Like
wouldn't
I would be
notice.
sitting there being like, what are you guys talking about? This is masterpiece. So I'm sorry, I'm going to go against the flow and say
No, that's
Smith.
so good.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna be of the opposite, like the opposite spectrum. I will do Smith family as well, a musical. It's only because I'm very good with music. I've been through a lot of recitals in my lives, and I have learned, like, because there was one point that it was such a long piece that children were literally hounding me, is that how long does it end? Because the performer was younger than my brother, and he had practiced that piece at our house. So at least they came and asked me with the assumption that I would know how long it is because he was practicing it. So I would be like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm literally, I think I would be very Chandler Bing. I've learned to listen with my ears closed.
You have like secret earplugs.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Um, tiaras or hats?
Wait, what is the question? Sorry.
Was it
Tiaras.
this
Tiaras
and
or
or
hats?
that? Yeah, sorry.
Tiaras.
Tiaras?
I prefer hats depending what hat it is, because
What
there are
about like
some nice.
bonnets? Like,
As long as I don't have to tie it under my chin, is okay. Like if I tie it back, it's okay. Like or to pin it up. But like, cause I do like a good like cap.
oh yeah, same.
Like a baseball cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I have a
No,
thing with the sun, so a cap is very nice. So I would do a hat. I have a nice beach hat that covers like it's like my
Oh,
sun.
those are so nice.
Yeah. So yeah,
Mhm.
hat. Spoiler?
I think that honestly, first of all, what is the weather? Like, this is a very important question. Like, if it's very sunny, I'm not going to choose tiara, no matter how pretty the tiara is. On
Okay.
the other hand, I also, you kind of want to look fancy sometimes, and if the tiara is looking very good, and I have very small head, so any hat, this is the pain of being second language speaker because hat, whatever, you understand me. Because if you have very great head, your head looks smaller than it actually is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah,
On the
proportions.
other hand, I also have very messy hair. When
it's
if you
beautiful.
when
It's beautiful.
lovely, but this is because I'm inside. When gust of wind just appears, my hair looks absolute mess,
Mhm.
and people are like looking at me, being like, when did you wash your hair the last time? And sadly, it was my father. So I was like, Dad, I washed it tonight, the night before, I swear. It's a few hours. Please leave me alone.
Oh
Oh,
my
So
god.
my answer to this question would be hat with tiara. Just
okay.
because, you cover everything.
There you
You
go.
have
Hat with
fancy,
the
you
tiara
have
on it.
sunshine,
There you go.
and do
I
not
just
tell
want
me
to
this
know
is
for the
against
record that you have
rules.
really beautiful hair and it's like a really nice color.
I
It's like
I swear to you, this is.
chestnut brown,
I
really
swear to
gorgeous.
you, this is the new notebook, new webcam, and I look at me being like, no, this is not my hair color.
It's really lovely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Um. Okay. Would you rather attend an open mic night or a karaoke night?
Oh.
Oh my gosh, I would
Who
so
are the
much rather see
attendees?
karaoke. Oh, I find open mic painful. Like I want to die the whole time of embarrassment when I'm watching people. So definitely karaoke.
Karaoke. Okay. L.
It really depends who's doing the open mic. If it's someone I enjoy and like, that's fine. But like Rock said, there's a really like there are some that are really bad where I'm just like, oh, I can't. And I've also been to karaoke nights where I'm just like, oh, I'm not drunk enough to enjoy this right now.
That was your first mistake. Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
Spoiler. What would you say? Open mic or karaoke?
I have to be personal a bit because I'm a horrible singer, which of course is not surprising given the fact that, I have horrible musical hearing. But my friends and I actually have this little activity we sometimes do when we put headphones in and people starts to, person starts to sing the song they're hearing in the headphones and others guess
Oh,
which
like
song
yeah.
it is.
So fun.
Everybody has the
Yeah.
same track except one person has another.
And
That's
I
great.
always lose when I'm, performing. People are like, "What is this song?" And I'm like, "It's such a classic. What are you talking about?" And then my friend, who actually is musical, just puts on the headphones and she's like, "Yeah, yeah, I see now." But so to answer that question, it would depend on attendees. If there are people who I don't necessarily like, I'm going to go for karaoke because then they can hear me sing and they can enjoy it tremendously. While if it's open mic, I can just you can say whatever you want. Or you can just say, "Oh, I am truly sorry, guys. I have a sore throat tonight, so
Can't
enjoy."
do it.
Yeah, I do open mic because I love singing. I karaoke's really make me cringe because I hate those beats that come in. So open mic sometimes if there's a piano, what my brother and I used to do if we were at a restaurant, if the piano was free, he'd go and play because he used to accompany me whenever I sang. So
That's so nice.
yeah, so singing like open mics, I love open mics. And if I can add a little bit, even if it's not part of this or that, I would do it.
I think I just think of an open mic as being like I was in college in a coffee house and somebody was doing spoken word poetry and it was like really bad. Like
Yeah, that's how
I
I take
don't think
open
I
mic
would enjoy
as.
singing. I would enjoy
Oh,
singing.
okay, no, because open mic nights here in Scotland, there's live music. Then they sometimes have Ceilidh, Ceilidh, which is like a
Mm.
traditional
Oh,
Scottish
okay.
dance.
That
Ah,
sounds
that
great. I
sounds
would love
Yeah,
it.
great.
Yeah.
yeah, it's really good. It's very tiring
It
because
was not as good in California, I'll tell you that.
yeah, because then you're in shoes and then you have to walk and run, and Scottish people are very energetic. So I I did like get a little bit of an elbow problem with one of my
So
colleagues.
random.
But yeah, but it's fun. It's totally fun because like sometimes I'm just laughing half the time. So it's really anyway. Attend the ball like the innovations ball or the diamond ball, or attending a day event like visiting a library or a gallery opening or watching
Hmm.
a balloon go. I don't know how to answer that.
For that question,
All pretty nice.
again, it depends because there's difference between Vauxhall Ball, which that's
It was so good.
beautiful,
Yeah,
Beautiful.
so
and
Yeah.
then
good.
Harmony Ball. Like, yeah, it's vibe. Like there are family vibes, but honestly, it would be awkward as well.
I
Like
think it
there,
comes from
Edwina and Kate and Anthony, and I would be just standing there, being like,
oh
"Guys,
yeah,
what's going?"
so cringe.
The
So
the
cringe.
awkwardness would kill me. I'd be like, I'm just gonna be over here like eating all the appetizers, guys. Like just
Yeah.
someone bring me a drink. Yeah.
Or
I remember.
in my case, I'd strike a conversation with the band. Like sometimes I go and talk to the band and like ask like music cues and stuff like that. Actually, it takes in terms of what I would wear. Like I do not I hate evening wear when it's too long. Like one
Yeah.
time I went to a wedding and I'm in my ball gown I had like a very nice like a Ginger Rogers style ball
Oh,
gown.
this is
Nice.
gorgeous.
But it was so hot that day, and you're standing in the heat for the pictures. You're sweating, and then you have to go inside and do all the dancing and everything. So I can't do an evening ball. If I'm with day clothes, like how they had like the very simple attire for day events, I do the day events. I would go visit a library. I can do gallery
I
like
just want to
viewing.
point out as a longtime Regency fan that I know most people know this, they do not wear day dresses. Like there's no muslin in Bridgerton.
Yeah.
From the very first
Oh,
episode, I was like, why are all these people promenading in evening gowns?
Yeah.
Like literally the
Because it's
first scene
sexy.
of episode one. And I was like, they're not wearing bonnets. There's evening gowns. No one has a fichu, which is like the little.
I did
Actually,
not know
Violet
that.
does have a fichu in episode one, but like never again. It's like the
Long
kind of ear thing
sleeves.
they
They
put on their
all had
chest.
long sleeves. Like
Yeah. I was like,
Oh,
only in balls you could have, short sleeves
yes.
to show some
Literally
skin.
Daphne like in the park with short sleeves. I was like, this is scandal. Like, I
oh
was
shit!
like,
I did not know that.
It's
Yikes!
alright.
also, the very first scene has I actually turned off the show and didn't watch it for like 3 months because Prudence's corset is not something that they wore in the
Yeah.
like
Same.
the very first episode
Yeah.
of season one. So
Corsets.
they're like lacing her into a corset. I was like, they did not wear corsets like that in
And
Regency
I think
Town.
also,
because
you're supposed to wear like any like stays and any corsets above like a chemise or
Exactly, a
something. Because
chemise. Otherwise, it's so uncomfortable. It would cut you. So
yeah,
anyway,
oh yeah,
I got
but
over
okay.
it.
I think
I got over it, and then it was like nothing's gonna be accurate. They have pop songs. The costumes are inaccurate. Doesn't matter. We're just gonna enjoy it. But when I
okay,
first saw season one, I was like very bothered.
I,
So,
okay. All right, now we've got a lot more to go. Okay,
okay.
chess.
I'm
Okay, play
sorry.
a game of chess
go on.
or play a game of cards.
Cards.
Wait, I didn't answer, and I would like to go to a
Oh,
ball because I would wear a tiara and a ball gown at all times if I could.
Oh, sorry.
So
I'm so sorry.
Oh,
And L,
I
I
agree
think
with the
oh,
choice.
did I answer the last one? I'm not sure, but if it's a library, I would go to the library. Minus the
okay.
awkward thing, but like if I were to go to the library alone, I could read my books and observe people. But other than that, I don't know if I want to go to like if I can observe people, maybe the ball. I just want to observe people. I'd like I said, I like Penelope. I just want to watch.
You
you know
want to see them
what does seem
flex that they're
horrible?
super book readers. Like, people are like, oh, of course, I read this book. Sorry.
Okay. All
You know
right.
what does seem horrible about the balls is like, what if no one asked you to dance and you're just standing there like Penelope? Like, it
Then
actually
you're
does
just
seem.
spending the time, walking around the wall. I want to
Well,
say,
some of you guys had this in your adolescence, but I do remember going to dances when I was like in junior high,
oh,
and either nobody would ask me to. I was like a very awkward, bookish wallflower with bushy hair. I was basically Hermione Granger. I had bushy hair and like buck teeth. Nobody asked me to dance, and or else like once my looks improved slightly in high school, and some people did ask me to dance, but never the guy I wanted to dance with. It was always like some creepy. It was like
classic.
Nigel Berbrook, basically, and I was like, I don't want to dance with you. Please leave me alone.
Oh,
So
and
that I
sometimes
do get like those flashbacks when I watch the ball scenes, and I'm like, Penelope, I feel you. Like I
I've
understand.
okay.
He was a
Moving on.
jerk.
Moving on. Okay. So play a game of chess or play a game of cards, like at Lady Danbury's Ladies Only event.
I would say cards.
Same cards.
I cannot play chess. Like, I tried against computer a few times, and I feel bad because my uncle is, just chess master or something, but
Oh,
nope, not at all. I'm going to enjoy chess imagery, like I'm going to point it in the show, like there's plenty of it, but no, give me cards. Like, thank you.
Okay.
I want
What?
cards. I want to go to like the debauched married ladies where they're all drinking and smoking and playing cards. That
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was the best
so
part
fun.
But
of the
I
show.
need someone needs to teach me how to play poker because I only know how to play gin rummy. Gin rummy is like
Oh,
Cinderella's a
I'm
great
very
game.
good at gin rummy. So
Oh,
yeah,
poker
yeah.
is pretty easy. Like you don't have to gamble for it. Like, but you know.
Yeah, but I need to explain, like, if you explain the rules, play with me a few rounds, I'll get it very quickly. Like
Okay.
I've managed to beat my mom a couple of times and my aunt in a game of gin rummy. I'm very good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's the best
Um
part.
okay. Would you rather be featured in Lady Whistledown Society papers or be in audience with Queen, Her Majesty?
Like Charlotte, but honestly, would probably take Whistledown column just because, well, she's writing about everyone, and if you're there, you're at least interesting, Any
Yeah.
publicity
Or
is a
your
good publicity. Well, Queen Charlotte will just roast me, most likely. So, no, the sparkle will always choose to be scandalized in column. Thank you very
right.
much.
Okay. Elle will
Yeah,
featured Lady
I,
Whistledown or be with Queen?
see, I changed my mind after like spoiler said that because I was like, oh, you know what? Being in Lady Whistledown means like, because I'd rather not be known, but I was like, you know what? Having my name out there, mentioned at least once to be like, I don't know what she's gonna write about me, but at least it's there.
Right, let's go next. Binge watching or a split release, like last year's season 3?
Oh, I think I prefer like the back then when it was like split, like week by week or like split because like at least you can talk about it because I feel like there was more discussion or maybe that's how I feel about this season. There's more discussion than like season 3, I mean, compared to the other season because it's just Bama at once.
Right. Spoiler, what?
I have to agree with Al because, I actually did not binge watch. I muted all subreddits for season 3. And I watched first 2 episodes with my friend, then, another 2 episodes. And then, I kind of lost my inner battle and we watched the, following 4 episodes. like,
Mm,
but in my defense, it was episode 6 of season 3, and we all know how it ends.
Yeah.
So we would just look at each other and like, yeah, we're watching this. Like, no way, we're going to skip this.
yeah.
So, but I will have to say that I agree with split releases. This is maybe controversial, but my opinion.
Yeah. No, actually, I don't find it what do you call it, very controversial with the split release. I thought it actually made sense. So Rocks, we were talking about the split release and the like binge watching. So I think I'd say I think I love split release because I think what was so great about Pollen season is that we actually got to enjoy like the first 4 episodes. Like we really dug deep into it because if it was all released at the same time, we would all go crazy over the carrot scene, the mirror scene,
Yeah.
and then jump to the
Yeah.
ending. And I yeah.
Like
So Rox, what would you choose, binge watching or split release?
Um, sorry, what were the choices? Whistledown or audience with the Queen?
Oh, we did. Oh, you sorry. Sorry.
That's
Oh,
all right.
sorry about that. Oh, so what would you choose, Lady Whistledown or the Queen?
I would choose Lady Whistledown. I think if you're not having a scandal once in a while, you're not living life. So that is my. I think you can have a little bit of scandal once in a while. Look at the Bridgertons. They are.
Oh yeah.
In every edition.
Oh yeah. Every day, like they're the everyday
Yes,
kind of
and that's
thing.
very much
I have
my
a theory about that.
personality. I am,
About it,
you
I have
know,
to see.
living life.
I'm
Yeah.
not, but good PR, any PR, good PR for me.
There you go.
Mhm.
Uh,
Okay, lemonade or champagne? Sorry, I'm just jumping ahead.
uh
champagne.
Lemonade.
it depends where the lemonade is from and when if it's like actual proper champagne from France.
No prosecco for
I'm
you,
being
Al.
I'm being a snob right now, but yes.
I'm literally drinking a beer as we record this podcast.
Lovely. Uh, Personally, if I've, my family actually owns a forest, and we sometimes do work there.
Oh.
And honestly, if there was a very hot day and after the work, if someone, gave me champagne, I would just, stare at them, being like, are you crazy right now? So I'm going to choose, lemonade. But
Mm.
honestly, I'm not so snob about champagne because I'm one of those people, who are mocked, being like, "This is red
Yeah,
wine,
yeah, yeah. This
just
is
by
Yeah.
the
smelling."
variety.
Okay. Would you rather have a Queen Charlotte wig with swans inside, or a diamond necklace by the prince, what Daphne had.
I'm just gonna say diamond necklace because I don't want something on my head that heavy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Like, exactly, I'm sorry, but look at my small head. Like, maybe I would look, taller, but that would kill me. Like, I'm sorry. And of course, diamond necklace, and we all know that where it ended up. It ended up in the garden. No one
Listen
ever saw
bothers
it
me to
again.
this day. I'm
What
haunted.
happened to the diamond
I'm
necklace?
haunted by the
And
diamond
so many
necklace.
showrunners.
She literally just
So
like
I
threw it
just
on the fence and like ran away. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd rather be with necklace because at least it's choking me. It's not suffocating me or making me gonna swoon. So yeah, definitely necklace. Okay, ride in a
Okay, wait.
carriage or
Yes,
ride on
necklace.
horseback.
Also, I thought the prince was handsome. I'm just gonna say. So,
Oh yeah,
Yes.
oh yeah.
yes,
I
yes.
I
very
mean I
nice.
wouldn't marry his Harry Potter counterpart. I wouldn't marry his like date, like let alone marry his Harry Potter counterpart. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
he
He
was
was
pretty cool.
Cormac. He was like horrible in Harry Potter. He was Cormac McLaggen. But yes,
Karmic was fun. Like, I'm sorry. Like, all these minor characters in Potter who are these comedic, like, they're awesome.
no,
I live for them.
Okay, ride in a carriage or ride on horseback.
I have to say carriage for reasons. Is Colin in
So,
there?
Yes,
Count
Bob,
me
yes.
what
in.
happens in the carriage scene?
Count me in.
Maybe you should have specified Joe.
You
Okay,
have to
no, but
specify
like,
whether Colin is in the carriage or not. So,
okay, I'd do horseback. I loved like horse riding since I was kid. Like it was a big thing in India. When you go to the parks, horseback riding around the park, it's so
oh, that
good.
sounds so
Yeah,
nice. It's very cute. That's
yeah,
very
and
cute of you.
yeah. Equestrian riding is a big sport in India, so it's
Oh,
it's very yeah. Like my school friend, she used to go on the weekends to. Okay, we were in Mumbai, if you know where that is. So
yeah.
Mahabaleshwar, which is like a 1 hour train ride away, is their horse riding school. She would go there every weekend. It was a big thing.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, spoiler
Well,
L. You're up.
yes, sorry. I was horse riding briefly because my mom was interested in horse riding and her boyfriend had horses at the time because his daughter, got into horses and then kind of grew out of it. So he was stuck with a horse. This is how it happens sometimes. But I fell
Oh no.
not very badly, and it was kind of my fault because I think that something was scratching me or something, and I think that I healed is the word, I hope. I healed the horse accidentally, and she just started to run like very fast. So you know what, if it's Anthony and if he's going to teach me horse riding, I'm going to say
Oh
that
yeah,
I'm going to enjoy the lesson, of course. And if it's Colin in his carriage, I'm going to probably also say yes.
yeah,
But if no one is present, I would probably choose based on weather. Like if it's a good day, you know, and the horse riding would not take much longer. Because imagine if it's hot and you're stuck in a carriage, akin to
oh yeah.
all these parties coming to Aubrey Hall. Like you remember
Party,
this.
yeah. Oh yeah. Mhm. And
So
L,
and I know.
yeah, L carriage or
Well, I'm
horseback.
just gonna say Colin's a married man now, so I don't want him in the carriage with me because I don't
I'm
want
sorry.
that.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Alternate reality or
Yeah,
timeline.
Yes.
there's no Penelope in this reality. It's just you and Colin.
No, I ship them. I definitely ship them. I would never take Colin from Penelope, no matter if I wanted to or not. Like, I'm going to slip
Yeah,
around, but it's one ride. Like, who
Like
cares?
if it's a
yeah,
carriage ride
yeah.
with the
I
person
mean,
I
Just
like,
one ride.
yes.
I would.
Yeah.
No, no, I want to
Sorry,
write
Ron, I
with
love you.
Cohen and Eloise, when they have a beef, because that would be very entertaining.
Oh, yeah, that would
Ooh.
that would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a carriage ride with someone I like. That would be nice.
Okay. One last one. Pen or quill? Especially because I'm basing it on that season one because they had Lady Whistledown's hand use a pen when you sign the first two episodes, and then when Pen was writing, it's a quill.
Hmm. I'm going to choose Quell because, it looks dramatic and it looks just, more interesting. So I'm going to go with Quell. Thank you very much.
L.
Okay, I'm gonna be a little nerdy about this. If it's like an actual old school quill from the Regency era, no, because I don't know how to use that properly. I'm gonna get ink everywhere. If it's a modern day quill where there's ink inside, I won't get it all over my fingers. I would do that. So like maybe
Oh yeah.
a fountain
Actually,
like pen that looks like a quill.
Best of both
No, that's
worlds.
awesome.
Best
that's a
of both
good.
worlds.
That's a good option. Yeah.
Yes.
Rocks. You?
I have to go with Quill just because I'm sure I wouldn't know how to use it. It was just so. I always wanted a quill when I was a kid, didn't you guys? Like I always wanted
Yes.
a quill and like
No,
a wax seal, like.
Oh.
I was a pencil girl growing up. I
Oh.
really loved
Oh,
pencils. I just like the sharpening and I
Oh,
like the
sharpening
getting the
pencils.
very longness of the pencil.
You can sharpen like you can sharpen a
I have a
quill.
thing when it's very short, right? The tip of the
Yeah.
pencil, it's like a very short triangle at the end.
Yeah.
It really beats.
My
It pisses
son,
me
my
off.
toddler son, loves to sharpen pencils. Like he likes the,
mm,
like the kind of pencil sharpener that they have in a
Yeah.
school that has like the handle that you turn
Oh yeah,
around.
the old school one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, like, because when you
Okay.
say pen, I think of fountain pen. That's why. Like, I think of like the proper
Ooh,
fountain
yeah,
pen,
yeah,
not
yeah.
like the
Fountain
ballpoint
pen's
point.
pretty
Yeah.
good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, we should, I think, wrap up. We've been having quite a blast,
Yes.
actually. So I think we'll just wrap up with introducing and like what's it called? Celebrating? Is it like what's it called when you welcome something? Damn it.
don't ask me.
Inaugurating? Is that what you're
Sorry.
calling?
Yeah, or indoctrinating our
Our
official section,
inaugural,
the
yeah, our
melding of
inaugural
minds.
Inaugurating.
section.
Yeah. So do you want to
Welcoming.
start with Reddit or do you want to start with Instagram?
You choose, Joe.
Okay, so I'm gonna do Reddit because we've had quite a few questions. Actually, two questions, and then we one question from Instagram, and hopefully for those who have chosen to be with us, if you like us, if you want to listen to us, please, we have an email address, the Whistledowners podcast at gmail.com. We would love to post it on Instagram. We would love to, you know, have a video if you want to send in a video to us. I think but we would love to I think what we want to do is just make it very inclusive. It's not just the four of us talking about Bridgerton for the mammoth that it is, for the complex roller coaster that it is, but we want like it to become inclusive. It's like we shall do what women do best.
We shall talk.
We should.
Yes.
Sorry,
Anyway,
I do not do a very good Violet impression.
yeah.
I,
I
I
think
shall get better.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so Dashing Orca 511, it's not 5,000. She had asked, he or she had asked, I've noticed quite a few allusions to Austen and classic romance novels in the intros so far, so in our post. Will some of the deep dives be drawing comparisons between Bridgerton slash Fallen Story and some of the classics?
1000% yes.
So,
I also
I'm all for it.
I just read well, first of all, there are so many comparisons to like a lot of the Bridgerton seasons. Austen is like the most obvious comparison, obviously, right? Like they are drawing on
yeah.
some of the tropes from Austen, on the world of Austen. Regency romance draws a lot from Austen in general. I think Canthony's season had a lot of homages to Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
And but I also think there are other sort of like 19th century novel tropes that get brought in. I recently read Wives and Daughters, which has a very like pollen coded story in it. Actually, I read it at the recommendation of someone on the pollen sub. I think it was Competition Dry. So shout out. Um, who recommended Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. But yes, 100%, like we will be talking about novels.
Yeah, I'd actually also like to introduce maybe like because I think Jess Brownell, the newest showrunner, she has quite a like a deep love for the classics. Like she has introduced a lot of allusions to the rom-coms and
Mhm.
things like that.
Oh yeah,
And I
like movies for sure. Like so many 90s rom-coms she's referenced.
mhm. So I think yeah, we're definitely doing like mixed genres, mixed media, and more than just classics. I think what I was trying to introduce with the intros is like we're classy, but we're very modern. So I think that was what
Highbrow and
the intent
lowbrow. There
was.
you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
find actually a lot of allusions to some Austen classics kind of funny because I know that Julia Quinn actually said that she has never read Mansfield Park. She just knows it's bad Austen novel, and I found it very hilarious
That like
because
killed a
Jane
piece of my
Austen subreddit
soul
was
when you said that.
roasting her for this, and I was like, come on. Cluelessness of Edmund, that's just like peak Colin
I
energy
know.
there.
Pete Colin energy.
Right.
I also
Yeah.
think Edmund
But
is
I
one of
So
the
but
yeah.
most
actually
misunderstood Austen characters, by the way. I liked him. I'm just gonna say.
actually I've kind of
Okay, this
I
is
I did
controversial.
I am a literature major, so like Regency novels were part of my syllabus during my degree, but I kind of got a bit disillusioned with it. Not because of the content, but because we we didn't have like I mean this is no offense to my professor. I hope she's not listening to this podcast. Whew. Um,
Shout out to Joe's professor.
yeah, no, I think it's just that because we would just skim through it sometimes, most of the times, and like it kind of took the joy out of it.
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
and the thing is that being in Indian university, more focus was given to Indian novels,
That makes sense.
which is
As
which
it
Yeah.
should.
happens with anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens anywhere. Like so. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna highlight Instagram. One question. User Bachelorette and GH Lover responded to our question sticker. Hopes for Pollen in season 4.
I'm always the one that goes first, so somebody else go first.
Oh,
Okay, I'll go first. I just hope that I think from the looks of it, we're not going to get a lot of Colin, but I would like to see
Right.
Penelope thriving with Lady Whistledown. Like she kind of gets a little, more into talking to the maids because I do think the maids and because from what we got, like what we saw from the previous seasons, like she got a lot of help with the footmen who were quite respectful of driving her, no questions, because they could have blackmailed her, right? But I think she paid them fairly. I think she was quite kind to the maids. I think Vali, right? Vali
Mhm.
is the housekeeper.
Mhm.
yeah.
Or like
Carla.
Vali
Hmm.
quite
Queen.
had quite a soft spot for her. Like
Yeah.
she did always kind of defend her more than Prudence and Philippa.
Yeah.
So I hope like we
It's
see
kind of
her.
low back. Sorry.
So yeah, no. So I think I do want to see how she builds up that relationship now because she's out in the town and she wants to give a voice to the voiceless.
Hmm.
So I think and it also ties into Sophie, right? Why she admires Lady Whistledown.
Yeah.
So definitely, um, I do wanna. I think they're gonna be great at parents, and I do think like they kind of are more introspective, like how Kate and Anthony were, because Anthony was like, "Go tell her," because that was an allusion to his season, how he should have just told, been honest, but
Hmm.
he wasn't, which led to a lot of catastrophic like results. And with Kate when she was talking to Eloise, right, in episode 5. Like she says, you should talk to Colin, tell him how you're feeling. There's no thing better than the truth because remembering how had she been honest with Edwina, like things would have been. So I wanted like a Pauline equivalent of that introspection because, and I think yeah, they're gonna definitely be. I think because I think Penelope has to atone for a lot of things, especially with how she wrote on Marina and Eloise in season 1 and season 2. So I think with season 4, when Sophie gets arrested, spoiler, yikes, spoiler.
It's
Yeah.
in the book. Yeah.
Spoil-
Spoiler alert.
Sorry,
Maybe
sorry.
we should talk about the spoiler portal say on this, podcast, because
Yeah,
there are some accidental spoilers with maybe what about
yeah,
podcast, because I know the book storylines,
Yeah.
hmm
but not everybody does. So perhaps we
yeah.
should.
But I think from what they did with the show, I think it is quite like there's a lot of photo because then she can like there's an accountability of like her standing up for what is right, and then there's also a thing of Colin, what it's mean like because again, Ben, and this is the biggest spoiler of an offer from a gentleman because he discovers that Sophie knew the entire time who he was and what was the LIS. So I'm not gonna. I hope everybody got that the LIS. Um, so Colin kind of had a similar thing of finding out that Ben was Whistledown. That's everybody knows. So I think there is there's an effective thing where they can be introspective and truly pass on the torch to
Mhm.
Benedict and Sophie. Okay, I think I talked a lot. Everybody, go ahead. Come on,
Uh,
something fluffy or something.
I mean,
Spoil.
controversial take because each season focused on a different couple. I don't mind if Pauline gets sidelined because it's Benefi season, and I think they should. I know it's like I come from a Pauline subreddit, and I do like the couple,
Blasphemy.
but like I think Benefi should take a shine to it, and also like I do also want to shine on East Asian culture. Yeah,
That's
so like
legit. Yeah.
like I wish they did more with that with like the like South Asian culture in
Oh,
season 2.
for
I wish they
sure.
did a bit more, but like I hope they would do some at least like especially with the Korean culture, and then like I think the Steph family has a Chinese last name, so like to
It's
kind of
true.
do those cultures, especially like with the clothing and stuff in that era would be fantastic. Like I want
Mhm.
that kind of shine more than like what I hope for, because like Paul and we know is a happy ending, so there might be
Yeah,
stuff that comes up, but it's a happy ending. So I want to give the shine to Benefi.
yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, if you want to put a couple, like a conflict, it shouldn't be in the immediate season because they've just had their season. So I wouldn't mind if, like, maybe Poland had a little bit of conflict with season 5,
Yeah,
like, be it with
I just don't want them to have
Philoise.
conflict
Or,
with each other, honestly. I want to see them. They've been through it, man. Like, let them be happy.
I
Honestly.
I
think
mean,
it
yeah,
would
no,
be
but
fun
there
to
is,
have them, this fun conflict being like Portia is
Yeah.
nonsensical, like, from Pen's
yeah,
side, and Chloe is like, nah, Portia's
I know.
great,
That's what
like,
I want
she's
to see. I want
but
Portia to be
fantastic.
like,
on
she's
the
not so bad. What are you
hypothetical,
talking? Colin to
I
be
just
like,
want to
Yeah,
say,
what are you talking about? She's not so bad.
yeah, but I think on the hypothetical, should season 5 be Philoise? We're not like saying confirm season 5. We're still like
Yeah, we
because
don't
anything
know.
can
But it kind of
surprise
makes
us.
sense for it to be both.
I kind of
It kind
assume
of
it
makes sense
was.
that there's a
Yeah.
little bit of conflict because Marina played a big part in their story, like
Yeah,
in season one
Uh,
and season
it gives
two.
me
So
heartburn.
there is a bit of guilt that can come with
Yeah.
things might have been different. Like I would have been in Philip's place, like Colin, if
Yeah,
things
for
had gone the
Penelope.
same
I mean,
way.
I would imagine Penelope would have some feelings, about
Yeah,
the
yeah,
situation.
and should it be on the off chance that it is Francesca and Frankela, whatever you want to call it, it is
Love
the
that.
thing of that there is
Angela Bush? No,
I don't know
sorry.
I
because
said
have
Frankela,
you
Shepherd,
but it
heard
could be Frankela.
maybe.
have you heard of That Was Us, the rewatch podcast? On This Is Us, there was this very kind of thing of this is the thing of that sometimes the contemplation of death
Hmm.
leads to a life fully lived. So I think if it should it be Frankaila, I think Pauline would have kind of a little bit of a heart like thing is that because John and Francesca married the same year, like married like less than a week after them,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
So there is like a conflict that can happen in season 5, but not in season 4. Season 4 will be their like honeymoon era or
I
something.
hope
I
so.
hope so too, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope to see not too little of Colin. I hope to see some Colin. And I hope that we get the fencing scene with Colin and Benedict where he's giving Benedict advice. And it would make even
Yes.
Oh
more
yeah.
sense now because he is married to Lady Whistledown. So he's going to be like, who cares what society thinks? marry the woman you love.
Yeah.
Like that advice would make even
But
more
also,
sense in
I
the
think what
show.
Colin will do is that it's okay to process it. I think
Yeah.
it's like, it's not just who cares. I know it's kind of, it is a
And it's
hurtful
okay to feel
situation.
betrayed by somebody keeping a secret, but ultimately
It's not okay, but it's all
it's
right.
all right.
It's
But
just
it's like
relative. Yeah.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
can have your feelings, but
yeah.
ultimately if you love her, you should go for it. Like I could see.
Yeah, because you can't waste your time being in that kind of like that shitty situation of feeling bad about yourself or feeling thing, because you're gonna miss what's right in front of you, right? Like, you can acknowledge that pain. You can, it is a pretty, like, it's a pretty hurtful situation that this person has kept this from you, but you need to understand why she did it, and then can you forgive her? Can
Yeah.
you forgive her and move forward? So
I think Colin will be really good at
Yeah,
giving that
sorry.
advice. I also hope to see Penelope wrestling with Lady Whistledown and with sort of the implications of being maybe pressured by the queen. Like now she really they did this theme in season 3 of like Whistledown has power. So it's like now it's like, okay, she has power, but like how is she using that power? What pressures are on her as she uses that power? And
yeah.
is she like ready to handle that? Because like we've seen that in the past, she hasn't always like handled the power that she had as the, like she was young and she made some mistakes,
Yeah.
like by not recognizing the full
Yeah.
implications of the power that she had. So I
Yeah,
think now
and it
she's
also
grappling
depends
with
on
that in a
the
new
it
way.
also depends on the core conflict, because the fact is I don't think any of the Bridgerton daughters are going to be the diamond of the season. It's going to be a
Mhm.
very different season. There's no like high
Yeah, I'm
stakes. I think
betting
the high stakes would be
it's not Posey, it's the other sister, Rosamund. I'm betting
Rosamund.
Rosamund is
Yeah,
going to be the diamond.
The
yeah,
question is whether they will include a diamond at all,
Yeah,
because I'm not certain how much are you aware of leaks or not.
yeah, that's good.
Basically, all right, I will just spell it. Just stop me. There is confirmation that at least 1 year jump in midst of season is happening
the 1 year time jump.
because
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
true.
they had
So they might
these
not say
wisteria
what.
lanes with different seasons.
Honestly, this
So
diamond
maybe
thing
they
is
will
getting a little
do
old to
two
me.
years,
Yeah.
but maybe they will just do this 1 year.
But
So
it's
they shall
also
start with spring, and there's the question whether they will have presentation at all, and then we jump into autumn.
That's a good
So I'm
point.
not certain.
That's a good point. Maybe they
It's
won't even do it, or it'll be like some
it's
random and it's not important to the plot. That would
but
be
yeah,
like if you read
interesting.
and
the
I think
book, if anyone read the book, the 1 year time jump would make sense in once like in a, I'm thinking of a specific case where it would really make sense. It's like I'm just gonna kind of spoil it. Is like, can I spoil it?
yeah, just say
Ben- Benedict
spoiler
Spoiler
meeting
alert.
alert, people
Benedict
skip forward if you want.
Benedict meeting Sophie, and then 1 year time jump, and then everything else happens. I could see that. I'm seeing that happen, but I
Yeah.
could be totally wrong. Don't take my word for
No,
it.
it sounds like they
Yeah,
are going to have some kind of time jump in there. So who knows if
yeah,
I
it
but
will
I
think
be a
think
this
it's
is
season.
where
gonna
we
take
will
not a
go.
long.
Maybe the time jump happening between episode 1 and 2, at the start of episode 2. I think they will do it,
Yeah,
or, in the beginning of it. And the question is, when you have this one episode with the spring going on, with Diamond going on, whether they will
like,
even include it, because what's the point when you
Yeah.
have time jump immediately? It doesn't really work, doesn't make sense. And you don't have
yeah,
any Bridgerton debuting now. So, maybe they will have Rosamund and Posse present. I'm not
Yeah.
certain. You know, what I wanted to say, back
To
to non
Colin. Yeah.
spoiler territory regarding question,
yeah. I have
I
one,
keep
just one
my.
small, yeah,
Yeah,
just
sorry,
sorry.
go.
Just interject with one small thing. I think
Yeah, go ahead.
from a writer's perspective, what I didn't like about the book is that the entire back half of the book takes place in 1 week. It just
Yeah,
goes
that's.
too
Yeah.
fast. I think what would be nice is that they have a time jump as in the book, but like time passes where Sophie has spent a lot of time with the
Yeah,
Bridgertons.
definitely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and she's built up a rapport with Eloise, because again, it was just mentioned that she was Eloise's lady's maid.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, agree. But this is all off season, off social
yeah,
season. So
so like
there
they
is like
explore.
no need for diamond plot at all this season.
Exactly. So just like exploring what the family is like in between, because I think they did an excellent job of that in the Queen Charlotte prequel, like
Hmm.
showing the thing of what it's Christmas in England, or that kind of thing before the chaos of the marriage
Yeah.
month season begins.
Yeah.
So I think it's nice to see that sometimes love does flourish in the off season, because again, Prudence also got married in the off season.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Sorry, continue, spoiler. Yeah.
All right, so back to non-spoiler territory with Pollen. I keep my hopes low because, first of all, of course, it's Benefi season now. Like, we know this. And also, I will include Cantonese in it because I think that they should get, some shout out. So now, you have these two couples, fighting for screen time, these minor couples in the background. Maybe not fighting, but get the gist. So I think that, we know from the confirmation that we shall see Pollen Baby. I think that Knikla kind of, alluded to, these scenes being limited. So I think that she is already saying to fans, hey, there will be baby, but do not expect, to see baby
Yeah.
in the entire season because with the time jump happening, like, it would be very hard to do. So I think that they shall, have a glimpse of Pollen Baby. Then they shall, dive into Pan as Whistledown being now outed.
Yeah.
And,
I think it's gonna be like
some,
season 2. It's gonna be like Daphne
yeah.
was, what do you call it? She was there without her baby at times. So like she did
And
have a life outside of, being Augie's mom. So
yeah, and some Portia shenanigans being very, minor and comedic. I think,
yeah.
with something like this. If I could choose, I would personally love to see Colin singing to his
Oh,
son.
yes. Oh
Like,
my gosh.
I
Oh
would
yes.
absolutely
That'd be
love that
so
scene.
beautiful.
But I'm going to keep my hopes low. I think that Colin talking with Benedict, I do not think they will do fencing 2 times in a row, but I think they will keep, the essence of that
That's a
scene.
good
And I
point.
hope that Dave shall do the scene, interestingly. So I think that they shall include this moment, but maybe it won't be fencing.
Yeah, no, because it's the fencing part has been with like all three of them. I think it would be nice where they had the when they are Colin stag do in episode 7, like when they was that thing, is everything well, and then he's like, is everything well with you?
Hmm.
At the stag do, maybe
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Bridget, like sorry, Benedict. I meant
Yeah,
Benedict.
it's all right. We get you.
Yeah, Benedict is like drinking his sorrows away, and Colin kind of has to become the adult in the room and saying, "What the hell are you
I would
doing?"
love that. I would also love to
Yeah,
see sort
because
of like Colin and Anthony. I want to see Anthony in the mix too, and I would love to see sort of like what is the dynamic now between Colin and Anthony, because so much of their dynamic was like older brother, younger brother, older sibling, younger sibling, or almost like
Mm-hmm.
dad. There was almost like a parent-child dynamic between them in season 1 a little bit.
yeah.
It is so funny
Yeah.
because some of their conversations like remind me of like me and my dad. And this might be like part of why I relate to Colin, but I also see Anthony's perspective in a lot of those scenes because like
yeah,
my dad
we,
wasn't
we'll
wrong.
definitely
We can
Yeah.
get into this a little more in the future,
uh,
but I would love to see,
we'll get it. Yeah, no, for the Bridgerton episode, we
I
will
would love to
definitely
Yeah.
for
see
sure.
them kind of like close the loop on that relationship in a way that I was hoping that they would do in season 3
Mhm.
and that they didn't
Yeah.
do. Um,
Yeah,
I would love to see the three brothers together and see what the dynamic is now and whether that makes
yeah,
Benedict kind of think about his choices because it's like, well, even your oldest brother is settled, your younger brother is settled. What the hell are you doing? And I think that'll be like interesting.
yeah.
This
I
was the
think
perfect build up
yeah,
for
it's like
Benedict.
because
Yeah.
I think it's like a flipping of what it was in, I think, season 2 and 3, because like Anthony and
Yeah.
Benedict were the singles, and Colin kind of felt like the
Yeah, he
child
always
of the
felt like
group
left
because like
out
he just
or
came into
yeah.
the life. Yeah. And now they are like on equal footing, and then Benedict is like, yeah, that's not my jam.
And in a way
Oh,
I
okay.
no, okay, just to touch on this for like one more minute. A couple other things I would love to see for Pollen are I do want to see them kind of like I want to see them lovey-dovey and sort of terrorizing the ton with their public displays of affection and like dark corners of balls. And I want to see the baby. I want to see the baby. I want to see baby Lord Frederick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then one last thing is I would like to see a little bit. This is my fantasy. They're not going to do it because again, I understand the focus is not on Paula and we're moving to another couple, but it's always Paula in season to me. But if I were the showrunner, I would be like, there's some threat against Penelope because somebody doesn't like what Lady Whistledown is saying. Then we get a little bit of protective Colin, and I would be into that. So
Yeah.
I'm just,
Ooh. But
I'm hoping that
Jess Ronald has said that Colin is a wife guy, so
Jess Brunel did say Colin is a wife guy. So I'm hoping to see a little bit of capital W wife guy Colin in
Yeah.
season.
okay.
And I think we saw a bit of it by the end of season. We did see it in season 3 in parts. Like I just want to see it in like
Yeah.
the full happy mode, you know.
Yeah. Elle, what do
Oh,
you have
I
something?
just thought of something what Spoiler said earlier about Colin singing. I want like Anthony to sing for the baby as well.
So
Like maybe both of them
cute.
can share because like
Oh,
if you
I mean, yeah. I
guys
mean,
ever
after
heard
that's
Jonathan
true.
Bailey
Yeah,
after you
singing,
said
oh my
everybody wants
god.
Jonathan Bailey
it's
to
such a
sing,
lovely
like,
moment.
Jonathan
yeah, we
Bailey
want a
and Luke Newton
crossover.
singing.
You know, Jonathan
Oh,
Bailey said something really interesting about Anthony, which is he said that it was going to be like a little bit of a return to season 1 Anthony. And everybody was like, what does he mean? What does he
Yeah.
mean? And I sort of wonder whether it's a little bit like, I wonder whether his role is his sense of what his role is as Viscount is in conflict
Mhm.
with him wanting to be like a supportive brother to Benedict. And
Yeah.
seeing him
mm,
struggle
Well,
with that
that
is
side
very
is also
interesting.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that side is also there with Eloise because there's the thing I wanted to be a father to.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it is for Louise season, that's also kind of a good expansion because I've always wanted to be your brother, but I had to be a father at
Yeah.
times. So it's like
Mhm.
I just want to go on the
kind of
record
I
to say
think
I
that
think there's a lot more interesting. Like I know there's all these fights in the fandom and everything, but one thing I really do agree with like the Anthony fans on is that even with the limited screen time that Anthony had in season 3, they could have given them a way more interesting plot. And I'm hoping they do have a
yeah,
more interesting
yeah,
plot in season 4. I'm
Yeah.
hoping that, maybe like the writers sort of were like, oh, maybe that wasn't it. Let's like do it a little better in season 4 and give them more to
Mhm.
do because there is so
Yeah.
much like we never dealt with the repercussions of them having had a scandalous marriage, which they did have at the end of season 2. But
mm,
it would have been really
I think
interesting.
but I have a theory about that, which we'll get into the future episodes. But I have a theory about that because but good thing you brought it up. I think I'm just gonna close this like line of questioning because I think we were all so passionate about Pollen. I think the choice that I would want to do if they do a Pollen dance at the balls,
Oh,
I want
oh,
the drop to be Lover by Taylor Swift.
oh, yeah. I actually really liked Lover in the string version, and I'm going to be controversial. And I know that everyone loves Enchanted but I just hear it and I'm like, that's not it. And I'm sorry, with the string versions, it's always the least likely, you
Yeah.
expect. Like, who would have thought that Pitbull would be
I
the
know, it's
gem
so
of
true.
season
Although they
3?
did do
No
a couple
one.
for Colin
It's
that
the
I would have
best
thought
cover, from them all. I'm going to stand by this opinion.
like,
But I actually really like Lover.
Lover would be
like
really
Yeah,
good.
I
there's
really want to see like a rock song be turned into strings. Because if you've ever heard those, it's really cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I like rock songs, so like rock kind of that genre ish. So like it'll be interesting to see because a lot of them do have like good meanings behind the lyrics as well. And it's like, oh, it's like from some tense moments coming up, I think could see it.
What was the Arctic Monkey song that people
Exactly.
were hoping for Pollen? It
Which one?
was. It wasn't. Do
Wait
I
a
want to
minute.
know? It was. Shoot. I
I
want to
don't
be
remember.
yours. I want to be yours. Is like the one people really
I
want.
want to be yours.
That
Oh,
would be
right.
so
Is
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That would be an awesome like banger of a string song. Though I'm kind of sad we didn't get it for Pollen, but I would love it for Banofi too.
Yeah.
I
I
will
have
just
to,
throw it there that I recently did, some post about what kind of what kind of themes for balls you see in future seasons happening.
oh yeah, I love
And
that.
people were like, what do you think, the ball Poland will throw would look like? And I was there just like, guys, you are expecting that they will throw a ball. Guys, It
I
sounds lovely,
know.
but keep your expectations
Yeah.
low. Do not be
Yeah.
disappointed. Keep it low, have some headcanons, have something. I think I wanted just to touch upon that. I think that some of the parts of Pollen can work very well given the main storyline of season 4,
Mhm.
with Benafi. I think that, I'm not going to spoil anything, but we know from the storyline that there is part when Benedict is out of the town, you know somewhere on the place I shall not mention, and I think that they shall return to the town when some things there could happen when Benedict is not involved. And
Yeah.
then when he returns, of course, you have that final dramatic thing which happens near the end of the
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
Mhm.
I guess where you're
So,
going.
and
Yeah.
I think that there are many things that who will resolve it and how. And there is the big issue. They kind of have the support of the Queen and Whistledown. So I'm interested in how they will resolve this, because this is kind of game changer for many things happening.
Right. I think,
Because
yeah, well, I think I get what you're meaning. So in terms of the narrative arc, it's like there has to be something which is, because the book is like solely from, like, it really centers around Benedict and Sophie, and we're just
exactly,
getting like
yeah,
reports from Lady Whistledown, like the sections. But I think what is very advantageous with Pauline is that they are connected at least till season 6, at least.
Yeah.
Like they need to, maybe if they wanted to be like featured in season 7 and 8, they need to start building up a connection to Gregory and Hyson. They already have like a connection with the other couples, especially with Philoise because of the Marina situation, and then with Francesca, with John. So I think there is potential. I think one thing is that I want to see how Hyson and Penn connect, because I think Hyson was so excited. I mean,
Mhm.
oh yeah.
so yeah,
I
I'm
think
I'm
that they will build Hyacinth a bit more, or they at least alluded to it. So
yeah,
I'm interested. And of course, we know that she wants to pre-debut. Pre-debut is that word?
like,
She
yeah, she
wants to
wants to
debut
debut early.
early.
She wants
Yes.
to, yeah, she wants to debut
So I'm not
really
certain,
early.
if they will do it or not. I tried to work the timeline. It was a mess. But what I wanted to
Yeah,
say is that she would definitely bond
I think
with
she's.
Whistledown.
I think what is going to be good, because we can talk about it in the siblings, like when we're talking about the siblings. But I think she's going to take after Eloise, because I think is that Daphne and Francesca had like the same almost arc, like in
Mhm.
terms of being the diamond. I think because after the season 4, especially with the picture that we saw in Entertainment Weekly, right, where
Hmm.
Eloise and Hyacinth was with the
Lee
I think,
sisters, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're called, yeah, it's Posy Lee and Rosamond Lee
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Araminta Gunn
Yeah.
and yeah, and Sophie Beck. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out the names. I'm trying to be very respectful. I'm not, just Lee, correct me if I'm wrong. I just want to be very respectful of the names. Is that okay?
I have very bad pronunciation regarding these names, so I apologize. And I think I forgot to say back, so I'm so sorry. This
Yeah,
wasn't
no, but
intentional.
I think, yeah, no, I think Hyson is gonna get a little disillusioned, because I think it's a good way of saying, kind of understand, because I think, because what I was really really annoyed with
Yeah.
Hyson, this is from a human perspective,
Yeah.
is that it's that I know it's kind of thing to have all your siblings get married and go out of the house, but you still, your job is to be, not even exactly a job, you're a child, like
Yeah.
just enjoy being a child, because the fact of the matter is, it's a big responsibility. Marriage is a big
Yeah.
thing. It's not like, finding love and thing. It's very complex even for your siblings, so it's kind of like you need to take a breather, enjoy being a teenager, being 14, 15, 16, 17, and then jump into it. And that's actually, Pen could actually think, because she had to debut early, right?
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that she kind of had a disastrous year. She could have debuted with Eloise. She would have been less alone in that first year. So,
I kind of get it because, Bridgerton is such, a wild household, but it used to be. And now, Colin is going to move, across the street, and you have, Daphne and Simon being, on
In the
vacation.
countryside,
Purple.
yeah, in the
Yeah.
countryside.
And then, of course, Benedict will move out with Sophie. That's probably not a spoiler.
Yeah, to the countryside. Yeah, I think, yeah, I think,
And suddenly you have, you don't have many people there. And consider the fact that, Elle is just, visiting Francesca. So I think that the season 4 will kickstart with Benedict, Hyacinth, and Gregor, vibing together. And
yeah,
I'm sorry, like, yes, Benedict, is very, very good brother, but there is
but
kind of a
there
big
is a big
age
age
gap
gap.
between them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, there's a
So
huge age gap. Yeah.
it's great build up for Benedict. Like, I have very, it was controversial journey. It had some bumps here and there, but I think the build up for Benedict is very good this season. Like, of
Mm,
course, we know, and I think that this is going to be great for Elle too, because her great brother she loves so much and she adores so much, and then now
yeah,
he falls in love
right.
for, at the first sight.
Okay,
Is this a
I have a,
spoiler? And then just imagine Elle's reaction to that. Ben is just going to, hey, I met this girl. She is gorgeous. I love her. You just met her. Yes. You don't know who she is. Yes.
yeah,
Like, I
another
think
person
that
to
Elle
fall
is
in
going
love.
to react like,
Like, what the hell,
I'm not saying
dude?
that she will
Yeah.
be
Like,
angry, but she will definitely be like, what's going on,
Okay,
dude?
I mean,
I have
honestly,
a
my
bit of an
question
unpopular
also,
opinion,
but
but I'm gonna, sorry, let me go
It's
on first.
Benedict.
Go on,
He's
go on.
different. Basically, in romancing Mr.
Yeah,
Bridgerton.
but
yeah,
Bridgerton.
he's special.
I have a very big theory. I don't know whether you guys are gonna like this, but I
Mhm.
think Eloise, I think she will. There's, I don't know. I don't want to spoil it like in the first episode. I think I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna keep it till we do our episode 2. When we're
Yep.
talking about Eloise, I have a thing that she will, she will come around to the idea of love if they do this change from her book, and she's gonna get very disillusioned by the end of it.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna
Hmm.
tease it just yet because I would like to talk about it properly, and we're kind of little bit gone a little bit over time. So,
Yes.
I'm so
um,
sorry.
no,
Yeah.
no, no, it's fine, it's fine. I think, but I think this is what I think. Before we wrap up, I hope that's all right. I should we wrap up?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I think just as we're about to wrap up, I think just this question that I wanted to swing
Mhm.
to the listeners. I think we're gonna put it in a poll when we post this episode, but are you do you like more like of a 40-minute episode with each week? Because as you can see, we love deep diving. We're gonna put a very chunky episode with
This is gonna be so long.
episode 2 because
Yeah.
we want to talk. When we say the Bridgertons, we are not just saying like a summary. We're gonna go into a deep dive with them. So we want to talk
Yeah.
the overall impression of the Bridgertons. We want to talk Violet, Edmund, um, all 8 siblings, like whatever we've known about them so far, and we are definitely going to evolve that as the series, like as we get accustomed to more seasons. But of course, I think this is a personal pet peeve of mine. I don't know, I cannot sit through a one and like a
Oh
2 hour
no, I
episode
love
at a
that.
stretch.
When the What a Barb does like a 2 hour episode, I get so happy. I'm like, oh my god, yes. It's partly because I drive a lot and like I also take it to the gym with
Ah.
me. So like the more the better to me. But I understand that not everybody likes that. I just personally I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it, yeah, no, just because in case sometimes we can't, this is also just out of like a convenience sake and for our listeners, because I love it when it's updated weekly. I don't like when you drop a huge thing and then it takes you 3 weeks, like almost a month to do
yeah.
the next episode. And we are trying to do a weekly release, so and then we want to do it like when we do I think when we do an analysis, we want to do it like wholeheartedly. And I think we when we divide it a little bit, there's something to look forward to every
Sure.
week.
Mhm.
So, and but we'll
Mhm.
definitely take a poll on the
That sounds
listeners.
great.
Like we'll give like a 40 to
That's
50
probably the best
episode,
decision, yeah.
yeah, a 40 to 50 minute episode every Wednesday, like our Whistle Down Wednesdays.
Mhm.
It's going to be
Mhm.
wholehearted. we would love to learn, like, have questions for the next episode or so,
Mhm.
and just so that we can keep the content
Sure.
flowing, because I
Yeah, and I
think,
think part of it
yeah.
is like, as a Bridgerton lover, I can never get enough of like Bridgerton content. So I love that there's like, I love What a Barb so much. And I'm like, I understand that they have lives
They're
and
perfect.
they
Yeah.
no longer can record every week. Totally understand. And they're also doing very deep dives. So if I could just listen to that podcast 1000% of the time, I would. But like, given that they are only able to record, every few weeks, I'm always like, what's the new who else has a podcast? Like, give me something else, like give me something
Yes.
additional. So hopefully people will just it'll just be one more addition to the world of like Bridgerton discussions.
Right. Okay, so we'll definitely post a poll when when we post it on Spotify. I'm gonna figure out Apple Podcasts. I'm not very familiar with it,
Mhm.
but yeah,
Awesome.
we will definitely put a poll on our Instagram stories when this episode is released.
Mhm.
Thank you all who have stuck with us so far.
Well,
I hope you enjoy listening to us. We are going to make it a very inclusive experience, because I think I think what I loved about this podcast, what I had in mind for this podcast, when I like pitched the idea on Reddit, because for those who know me, I'm Saltier9058. When I posted the idea, and you guys so kindly responded, and I think what I wanted to do is that I think these conversations need to be had. We're going to talk, like, there's potential for life lessons, for some things to be honest about ourselves, and things that we can relate to, more than just, learning about the themes, the motives of the season. So we want to make it a very, very jam packed um, thing that you can like relate to, like talk to us, because we're trying to get, like, everyone can be part of us. Like, everyone is a Whistledown at heart. So I
mhm.
think, I don't know what you
That's
guys
a
agree,
lovely message
Lovely.
to
but
put
Yeah,
there.
that's a
yeah, I think everybody of us, like, we have parts that scare us, that we hide, that we don't think people will accept. But here at the Whistledowners, we accept every part of you. We accept every perspective possible, and we would love to have more and more thoughts and vibes. And because, Bridgerton is such an inclusive experience, so we definitely, I think this is the part of the show that we love, that we want to put in our podcast. So if you have questions, if you have thoughts, if you have, like, you want to put it in video, if you want to email us, like, be on our Instagram page for that,
Or
please.
messages on Reddit, like,
yeah.
it's all right. Like, I think
Reddit
we are
as
all
well,
support.
yes, because that's how we all met. That's how we found each
Mhm.
other,
Yes.
and it's such a beautiful space to be in. And I think, do you want to say bye, like, so far? So thank you so much for being with us. I'm Joe.
I'm
I'm spoiler. Yeah. Yeah.
no,
Sorry.
go
We
ahead, go
we
ahead.
should we should.
Spoiler.
Okay. I'm spoiler. It was so lovely to be here with you guys, and of course also with those who stick with our podcast. Thank you very much, guys.
Yes. Thank you, Joe, for starting all of this. This is Elle. Well, I don't know what to say. I'm not good at these stuff, so I hope to get to know you guys, and you guys to get to know me, and just kind of see how all of our takes are different from each other or similar. Yeah.
Hmm.
And this is Rox.
Filling in the carriage, right?
100%.
Sorry.
This is Rox. It's been a pleasure talking with you all, and I'm looking forward to talking again soon.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so signing off. Thank you so, so much, and see you all next
Bye.
time.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.